Hi, how are you? We are Inés Álvarez. Inés, how are you?
Hi, fine, thanks.
And Jordi Castelló. Jordi, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. And you?
Yes, I'm fine. Enjoying the Christmas holidays. I'm Ramón Rupérez.
Holidays.
Yes, it's important to do holidays.
Yes.
I'm Ramón Rupérez, and we will talk about the role of women in the war and in the different armies. That idea comes from a video from the Moodle, from the forum, that explains how women were part in the International Brigades. And Jordi, that is an interesting topic for you.
Yes.
And why? Why it's interesting?
Well, I think it's very interesting, because in the last century, women in general took a step forward in the fight for democracy and their own rights. Like in the middle of the century, the Spanish Civil War, the militia woman changed the role of the woman in the war, and the International Brigades, and these women come to help her sisters here in Spain.
It comes from it's interesting. It's important because they come from other countries to help, and not only to do the medical task or medical AD task. No. They participate in a lot of tasks in the war.
Yeah, this this thing remember me in the second war they was the Roses, the Riveters. They won. They was women that meanwhile the men was fighting in the in the second war in Europe. They start to do jobs that in this moment are only for the men, like build the
armament and working in industry.
Yeah. Yes. In the mechanic line, doing the airplanes, making the airplanes.
Yes, very important job.
But
in the context in the first middle of the 20th century, it was important. But now, what do you think? What's the paper in a war for a women? I read an article from Amnesty International, a report from Amnesty International that explains, I say it for you, that the 90% of women has the risk to not access an education in a war context. And they usually suffer sexual violence.
Yes.
If you compare that, you are explaining that the International Brigades, the Roses in the Second World War, the paper is changing because now the women are only victim in a war. Don't have an active paper in this process. Why do you think that it's happening? For me, it's that the women not are nowadays in the armies, or not are working in the armies. The percentage in the Spanish army is only 13%. It's a small percentage, for example, in the last year. But the paper now it's changing. It's not an active change, an active paper, an active role in the war.
Yes, yeah.
The women always are like. In Spain, we say moneda de cambio. I don't know in English how is this term.
Changing coins.
but it's not.
There are only victims.
Yeah, because the armies, around the world use the women to.
Women usually are double victims from the war.
Yeah.
because they suffer rapes,
Rapes.
a lot of rapes, for example. And for me, that is different because they is going a step forward,
Yeah.
and they were fighting like a man in the middle of the last century.
Yes.
It was exceptional. It was an example, for example, for the roses of the United States, or another woman like a Kurdish militia.
But it's
Nowadays, now, and we don't like war.
yeah.
All of-
Obviously, we don't want a war.
But when you suffer at couple state or
Yeah.
at an invasion, people must to.
Your conclusion is that nowadays women not
to
are
fight
in the
best.
armies, or the percentage is smaller than men in the armies, because we don't have the risk to suffer a war. For me, yes, maybe yes, but the war is here. It's in Europe.
The war is here. The war is on the corner.
He's waiting. He's waiting.
On the corner in Europe.
We want to
Ukraine.
we want to be positive,
Ukraine.
but it's difficult to be positive now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for you, it's that the point that the women are not participating in the armies because we don't have a war. Could
Yeah,
be.
maybe because we don't saw the danger.
Yeah.
Maybe if I think that the war is not the war. Sorry, the army was a very good solution to your economy.
Yeah,
Maybe you you want to be a soldier.
that's the paper of the army, no?
Yes, well, I am in part agree with you, but for me, the most important is the role of the woman in general in the world. You know, the woman is going to have more power, more powerful. They more powerful in general.
I'm disagreeing with you, but
yeah,
this is
I
another
I
exam.
think step by step, the woman is taking more control.
I agree with you, Jordi.
Taking more control in the society in
I'm
general.
not pretty sure.
I agree with you, Jordi, because I understand that women are arriving on all the jobs, obviously, all the positions in our government, obviously. In the future, we will have prime minister women here in Spain, not today, but we will arrive.
Yeah.
And in other countries, we have a lot of examples. Margaret Thatcher, Angela Merkel. Okay, but we have women in police, for example. That it's a job similar like an army. It's not the same, but firefighting.
Yes.
For me, it's a question about time. We will wait, and we will see that the number of women in the armies increase in the future. I don't know, Inés, for you, if you are agree, because you are saying not agree.
I don't know. Maybe in the future the war is only for women.
Maybe for me it's important that the
Only for women.
only for women.
Only for women.
You are very optimist.
Yeah.
You know.
But if we want to be optimists, maybe for this new year, we will hope that we don't need to talk about
the war.
about the paper, about the role of women and men in a war, because obviously we want to end all the wars. But
I think it's important of the woman's point of view.
in an army, yes, I agree
In
with
the
you.
army
In the society and the government.
A lot of things, because the men we are ruled a lot of time. I think this world needs a point of view. The woman is a bit different. Sometimes I think it's a good thing to share the work in general. I think so.
I agree with you, Jordi. I think that it's important that have the point of view from women, also in the armies, also in the war.
I think, Inés, do you want a bit more?
No.
a bit more.
I was joking.
Of course.
The world is impossible only for women because we need men to increase the species.
Oh, maybe we are a dreamer. You know.
That's the conclusion. We are dreamers.
Like John Lennon and we want to.
We want
to peace, and we want to a better world. No?
Imagine.
Imagine.
That's the
we
moment.
We can imagine.
Yeah. That's the perfect moment to close this discuss with this idea. We want a world in peace.
In peace.
Imagine.
Imagine.